Per the Houston Chronicle, the Astros have lost a fairly significant amount of money recently. They're losing big money with the new TV deal. They left AT&T Sportsnet Southwest in November, and since they're no longer working with Warner Brothers / Discovery, they're losing their guaranteed annual media rights payment. For this year, it was supposed to be $120 million total, $73 million for the Astros, $47 million for the Rockets. And with the Space City home network, the Astros are likely only going to get about $50 million a year as this channel, at the very least, starts. So if you're looking for Jim Crane to maybe go over the collective balance tax threshold and spend more, and at this point, I mean, seems like most of the free agent targets that the Astros would be maybe interested in, we're not talking about Yamamoto or Ohtani. It seems like they're no longer available. It does feel like this is just going to be what the Astros are for this offseason. Does it change in the near future? I honestly do not know. But consistent with the Astros potentially losing some money is another update as we continue our countdown to the start of the Astros regular season. Check that. The Astros spring training beginning when pitchers and catchers report to West Palm Beach.
It's always Astros time in Houston. Are you ready to play?
A lot of people were wondering what it was going to be like if the Astros didn't win the division. I guess we'll never know.
We're counting you down to the Astros pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training in West Palm Beach.
We're getting closer and closer. 55 days away from Astros pitchers and catchers reporting. It's a similar report to what we got from Ken Rosenthal last week. I guess the Astros are still at the very least picking up the phone when teams call about Framber Valdez. They're not planning to trade him, reports Bob Nightingale of the USA Today, but they are listening with more than 5 teams already checking in on him. I think per Ken Rosenthal, it was 2 teams. We discussed this on Friday, and by we, I discussed it with a drunk person at Kobos. Fun time at Kobos for their 2-year anniversary in the downtown location. But this one guy just kept on yelling at me, and I don't know what he was saying. And I was like, dude, you don't have a headset. It turns out he was just like absolutely blackout drunk, and he ended up leaving basically 20 minutes after the show ended. So I realized I was just in a shouting match with a drunk man in public. Fun times. But I do think the Astros should at the very least entertain the idea of trading Framber, because I'm not sure that he's going to be able to be the guy that he was in 2022. I'm not sure. He might be, but I don't know. Even with the no-hitter that he had last year, there were lots of moments that just make you wonder, Sean Mapes, about his, I guess, his mental toughness, his ability to deal when things are not going his way. And now there's not going to be a Martin Maldonado, which I think would classify as a thing that is going out of his way to go his way.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. It's like just the mentality of Framber Valdez is just so volatile that you just never know. Like, you never know what you're gonna get with him, like inning to inning, not even game to game. Like, there's just some innings where he just completely disintegrates, and then there's some innings and some games where he throws a no-hitter. And so it's all about, like, do the Astros, like, believe in this? Like, do they, because they have more information about, like, behind the scenes, like what's going on with this guy, like in the clubhouse before starts. We only see, the first inning on till he finishes. We don't really get to see what's going on with them past that. And this is kind of like a cousin of the Jalen Green trade discussion, where it's like do you want to trade him right now and he has a lot of value, or a good amount of value, or do you want to risk another year and just see, without Martin Maldonado, maybe this guy can't pitch, and then what?
The sad thing is that is legitimately a possibility. And I know a lot of people are happy that Maldonado is no longer going to be in the lineup on a daily basis. I think it's fair to be happy about that. But I think it's also fair to wonder how the supposed ace of the Astros pitching staff is going to fare without him. And he was supposed to be the ace going into this year, and by his standards, this year was disappointing, even though he was, ninth in the American League Cy Young Award voting.
Yeah.
They bring in Verlander. Was Verlander significantly better than Framber Valdez in his return to Houston? Not really. And Christian Javier, of course, was a massive disappointment as well.
I will say Verlander didn't have the, oh my God, we just lost the game in the second inning starts.
That's true.
He wasn't Verlander from even
he was even better in the
year.
Postseason than he had been in years past. He was pretty damn good in the postseason.
He just doesn't have he can go 7-8 innings without a sweat, and his last pitch is 101 miles per hour. It's he doesn't do that anymore, which is understandable because he's 41 or whatever. So I do think that Verlander is someone who I'd feel more comfortable with being your ace as opposed to Framber, just because of the variance with Framber. The downside is so far down that this report about them trading possibly fielding offers, not trading, possibly fielding offers.
Because they're not interested in it. They'd have to get a Godfather offer, I think, to actually trade him. Because, again, they should run it back, as has been brought up on the Twitch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you do wonder if you want to keep this team good forever and you're concerned about his volatility and you have less money to work with, as is evidenced by this Houston Chronicle piece.
And your farm system stinks. Is he the horse you want to bet on?
There are
or do you want
certainly
to
reasons to do it.
Yeah.
Right. It's if you are all in on this year, you're not trading Framber.
Yeah.
But I don't think the idea of trading Framber is some just unspeakable thing.
It's the Bregman report, the very similar Bregman report to this. I feel that was more, I don't want to say offensive to me as an Astros fan, but that was more wait, what? WTF, dude? What are you talking about? Trading Alex Bregman. This one is a little less so because, we saw in 2022 how deep this starting rotation can be when it's all healthy, and obviously, McCullers being healthy. We're not even.
Let's just say that's never going to happen.
We should just don't plan on it.
But if
don't
Luis Garcia and Urquidy were good to go all year long,
if he comes back,
you're still feeling pretty good.
Hunter Brown maybe develops. You can look and see a good starting rotation, even without Framber. So, do we say Christian Javier bounce backs? Christian Javier could bounce back.
He has the stuff to bounce back, but again,
the thing is with Javier and with Valdez. Javier, it seemed like it was arm fatigue. It was from his first year being a starter and playing in the World Baseball Classic. So that, to me, I feel better about him bouncing back, because that all seems very physical and seems like it's have an off season, get your body right, and come back and dial it in a little bit more. Your second year being a starter. Framber Valdez, it's just oh no, his fifth year, no, I think fourth year being a starter. It's oh no, he just mentally, just some games just doesn't have it.
And it's weird because last year,
and that makes me more uncomfortable betting on.
He was so consistent in 22.
Yeah, exactly.
The model, record-setting consistency, and then last year, not the case.
Yeah.
Is it the pitch clock? I don't know. But I don't.
A pitch clock when he threw a no-hitter last year.
That's true.
They had it that game.
It's bizarre. And the question is, as we get closer and closer to a time where he's probably going to need an extension, are you even entertaining the idea of an extension? I think right now, no. You're wondering what you can do theoretically before you would have to give him a long-term deal.
Especially if you use the Tyler Glasnow and extension as a baseline, how we do with the NFL quarterbacks, this kind of the deal you build off of. Tyler Glasnow has not been as successful as Framber Valdez has been in his MLB career.
Correct.
But
Glasnow, I hate to say he's been glass, but
I mean, of glass now.
Kind of is.
But with Framber, and Tyler Glasnow, like you said, less successful, more injury prone, has got what, $30 million a year? Maybe over $30 million a year? So Fromber, you're looking at like $30-35 million a year. We know this team is not going to pay him that. They're not going to pay Kyle Tucker that. They're not going to. How many guys they let walk? I don't think Fromber Valdez is the one that's going to get a deal. So if you can trade him again, not this year, but at some point, if that's the move they make, I would be behind it.
I would not be opposed to it, but
wow. That's some real.
I'm not behind it. I'm not behind it. I would not be opposed to it though.
Okay.
Look. I mean, you need him next year. You do.
No, I'm saying not. I'm saying this is like 24 offseason.
I get what you're saying on that front. Like it's certainly possible or plausible after this coming season, but at the very least, they are hearing offers out. Some comments. HRW713 says the Astros need a sugar daddy. King of All Twitcher says, do we need a GoFundMe for Kyle Tucker? Maybe.
Can we get like a Saudi investment?
Honestly, I mean,
to spray a
you're
little.
the Astros. Like nothing's too low. Screw it. All these people are just jealous haters. Some Saudi money. Who cares where it came from?
It's also,
all money's dirty.
Well, it's also like we don't want the Saudi oil money, but we'll take all other sorts of oil money.
The Lockheed Martin money's fine, but the oil money, no. Yeah, Oxy. Oh, big pharma money. Oh, well, that's bad.
Yeah,
but Saudi money. Oh,
They used to play games. The old name for Minute Maid Park was Enron Field.
Hell yeah. Back when men were men.
I'm just saying, Jim Crane. If your wallet's really hurting, there's some guys that can help alleviate that.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm sure some of those Enron guys got some money still embezzled.
I meant the
somewhere.
Saudi guys.
Oh, okay. Fine. My bad. Not in Houston. You can't take Enron money. You can take Saudi money. Really quickly before we wrap up our Astros countdown, I just wanted to read this quote by Dana Brown because it makes me laugh. He's very excited about Astros prospect Jacob Melton during a appearance on the Astro Line podcast. He had this to say about Melton. He was asked for in almost every trade talk. All teams are asking for him. That's the one guy I was afraid to give away because you're going to look up one day on TV and he's going to be playing, hitting balls over the fence, stealing bases, making great catches. He's got a chance to be a stud. I could just see this guy hitting balls to the moon, stealing bases, and making great catches. And here's the kicker. I'd wake up in cold sweats about the guy. Dana Brown, the politician, that is quite the sell job on Jacob Melton, who he may be trying to trade right now. Right. I've got cold sweats about this guy I'd rather trade than Fromber Valdez to make the Astros window a little bit bigger.
Either he's the guy that's going to get traded, or he's priming us for him to replace Kyle Tucker.
There's definitely that as a possibility too. Oh boy. Well, you're just setting him up for failure. Why does he do this? He overpromises. God, Dana,